I told him on stuff, invited him because we need that pretty much put out there real quick because he got a sign and he kind of pissed me off. I asked him to come to the city council and he put it out there. He's got a road sign for him and all that.
We got road signs everywhere. I'm going to get this done.
All right, thank you.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the March 3rd, 2020 version of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. At this time, Magistrate Ray Hill, will you lead us in a prayer, please?
Absolutely. You bow your heads, please. Father, we just love you and we thank you for this day, God. We thank you for the opportunity to be here for all. We thank you for the breath that you give us, Lord. Lord, we ask that you touch each and every one of us. Let us think like you. Let us breathe like you. Let us do your will, Lord. Let us be blessed. Lord, give us the knowledge. Your word says if we ask for knowledge, you would give it to us abundantly to do your work in this county and this state, Lord. We ask that you bless each and every person in here and give them favor throughout this day and this time. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. And Chief Eric Butler, would you come up and lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Thank you, Chief.
Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Loxton?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Here.
Mr. Rayhill?
Yep.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
All present?
Thank you. Treasurer's transfer report.
Thank you, Judge. Those transfer reports were handed to you today, and those are dated for February the 28th and for March the 3rd, 2020.
Looking for one motions.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston to approve the Treasurer's transfer report. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Loxton?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rayhill?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Presentation, approval of all bills.
Make a motion we approve the bills. Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rayhill, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell to approve all bills. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rayhill?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Loxton?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Need a motion for the approval of minutes for February 18, 2020.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes dated February 18th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Rayhill to approve the minutes of February 18, 2020. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Rayhill?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Loxton?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now at this time, presentations, we have two. One, I'd like to have Sheriff Scholler come up for the Deputy of the Month.
Judge, if I could impose upon you all to step forward with me, I would like to point out to members of the audience that our January Deputy of the Month is being presented this month posthumously to Lieutenant Scotty McGay. As many of you are aware, Lieutenant McGay passed away on the 18th day of January 2020. His last day that he was actually in service was Friday, the 17th day of January, and he was scheduled to have retired the day after he was still on the payroll, but his last day of service was that Friday. He died in the wee morning hours of Saturday, the 18th day of January, and here to accept the award of Deputy of the Month for the McGay family in Scotty's honors, his son, Louisville Metro Police Department Lieutenant Jamie McGay. So Jamie, if you would step forward, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Scotty McGay was for those of you that did not have the opportunity to know him, he was a tremendous and wonderful asset to all of our community, both here in Bullitt County and across the Commonwealth. I met Scotty, Jamie, if you'd step right over here with me, please. I met Scotty back in the 1980s. He was a community, I hesitate to use the word activist, but he was very involved. He was very active in the community as long as I've known him, and that was in the early 1980s. Scotty joined the United States Marine Corps when he was 18 years old, maybe even 17, and he took the first oath at that time in his life, and he renewed that oath many times over throughout his life. And when I knew him, he was active with the city of Pioneer Village. In 1999, June 7th of 1999, in fact, Scotty came on board with the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office and served continuously thereafter until his death on the 18th day of January 2020. Scotty served in all aspects of the Sheriff's Office. He served as a patrol deputy. He served as a detective. He served as a sergeant. He served as a lieutenant. He served with distinction throughout everything. He was a friend to all. He clearly served. He was always faithful and lived his Marine Corps motto of Semper Fidelis. And in addition to that, Scotty was most definitely a person that had the skills of a warrior with the heart of a servant. And for that, for everything that Scotty did, we have awarded him the deputy. Excuse me, one second. Let me get this. Here you go. Thank you, Sean. We have awarded him Deputy of the Month for January 2020. Jamie, thank you so much, and all of the McGahey family for loaning us your father, your brother, your sons, your son. He was just a pleasure to know, and he's sorely missed. Representatives issued a citation of adjournment on the day following, the Monday following Scotty's death. And if I may read it to you, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky does hereby adjourn this legislative day in loving memory and honor of Clifton Scott, Scotty McGahey, and joins with Representative Russell Weber in expressing heartfelt condolences to the McGahey family and all who shared in the loss of this highly regarded citizen on January 18, 2020. The son of Mayola Edwards McGahey and the late James Clifford McGahey, he was preceded in death by his father, cherished wife of 49 years, Joanne McGahey, and siblings, Lloyd McGahey and Connie Jesse. He is survived by his mother, beloved children, Telly McGahey, Justin Brown, James McGahey, Phoebe, and Casey Cheshire, Eric, and grandchildren, Anthony Brown, Sidney McGahey, and Noah Cheshire, siblings, Robin Freeman, Tommy, and Rick McGahey, and a host of other family members. Friends and loved ones. This distinguished gentleman, a respected resident of Brooks, Kentucky, a lieutenant with the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office, an honorable veteran of the United States Marine Corps, who served with great valor during the Vietnam War, and a man of tremendous warmth and integrity, is remembered on this day during the 2020 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the many and generous contributions he made to his family, friends, and community. Scotty McGahey will be profoundly missed by all those whose lives were touched by his presence. Again, Jamie, thank you so much.
I want to say something. I've known Scotty, I guess, about 30 years. Never seen a time that he wasn't pleasant to everyone. I don't care who he met, no matter where it is at. He served with distinct honor. He did. He was a true gentleman. He really was. I've known him, I guess, over 30 years. I just want to say that to the family, but he was a very special person. He really was.
Again, the second presentation is by myself. All of y'all know me, and those who don't, I'm your judge executive here at Bullitt County. And the biggest task that we're charged with is to make sure that we're physically responsible for the community of Bullitt County. Candy, if you have to remember, these are all the services that the county provides. We can bounce through all of them if you want to, but it's animal control, economic development, code enforcement, the coroner, county clerk, county surveyor, countywide dispatch, countywide road maintenance, emergency management, emergency medical service, the jail, parks and recreation, planning and zoning, property value administration, and the sheriff's department. And what I'm here today to talk about is the insurance premium surcharge. Candy, if you can. This is our community, guys. This is our county. This is the fiscal budget reserved by fiscal year. This is a history of it, of which we went back and we have found it back as far as we can. It's been in the documents. This administration, for clarity, has not, and I repeat, has not added any long-term debt to this community. If anything, we've done the best we can to manage with what few resources that we have to expand the services of both EMS and emergency management as well. Got it? Okay. So what you can see is the amount of reserve that this community has. It's fluctuated up and down, but to the last two budgets, it's dropped from $900,000 a year to $300,000. That's what we inherited when we walked in here in January of 2019. And at the end of this fiscal year, we're going to be at $200,000+. That's exactly where we're at. Ken, if you'd show the next slide, please. This is our outstanding, this is our total outstanding debt that we have as a community. Bounce it back up to the first one for just a minute, one before it. That's a reserve by fiscal year. One more, please. Services, back the other way towards the debt. This is our total outstanding debt. Where's the slide with the all debt in it? One more in front of it. That's right here. Okay. This is our, basically, this is our reserve carryover that we have to have each fiscal year, because we quit getting in revenue from the, what I'm going to say, the property tax. It literally ends in January and February of each year. So we have to have a shade over $2,800,000-something this year to last us through till October 30th of 2020. Our total outstanding debt is $23,679,000. And is the other slide in there that shows all the debt, Candy? Which ones? Which ones?
There's this one that shows detention center.
Okay, well, here's how this shakes out. The total outstanding debt, on the left-hand side, you had a detention center that should be paid off in 2028. It's $3,700,000+. Then we'll bounce into the 911 system, of which we inherited when we came in here. The 911 system is $4,600,000. We can go into the courthouse and EMS. That's another $1,600,000. We can bounce back into the perfection group, $3,300,000-something. We inherited all this debt. So what we're proposing is this, because there's a real elephant in the room. It's called the Kentucky County Retirement System, of which between starting today all the way up to 2028, we're looking at an estimated cost and extra revenue that this county is going to need is $5,200,000+. $5 million. This is not chump change on a $25 or $27 million year budget. This is literally close to 20 to 25% increase. And so what we're proposing is this. If you bounce back to the slides one more time. There you go, right there. What we're proposing is this. We have handshake agreements with all the major cities in this community. Literally. This is a different administration. This is not the same administration that literally lost all the insurance premium surcharge to the cities. What we're proposing is, I have 20-something pages here of different communities that do the insurance premium surcharge. All the big counties go to up to like 10 to 15%. Boone, Campbell, Kenton, Warren, Davies. What we're proposing is this. We want to raise it to 10%. It'll be countywide. And what that will do for us, that will pay off all this debt, literally every cent of it, in 2 years. And at the end, all of it except for the ALC. And that's something myself and the chief financial officer agree to disagree on, because he's more or less saying it's a pass-through, but to me, we own the building, we have the debt. So by doing this, it will free up close to $1.5 million in free cash for the county moving forward, where we can pay literally the insurance, the commitment to the retirement system. And what we will do, as long as I'm standing here and I can breathe, at the end of 2022, this will be rescinded back to 5%. This is not something that's going to be here forever. This is something that we have the fiscal responsibility to be able to physically manage this county. And the choices are up to these gentlemen here. They've been presented this. I've called in small groups to present it to you as well. But we do have the opportunity here to get this county out of debt and to set an example. Because whether this administration is standing here or not at the end of 2022, it's absolutely going to hit the fan in 2023, 2024, and all the way up to 2028. We're not going to be able to deduct 13% increase that the state, literally that the state has committed to raise our commitment to the retirement system for our county employees. We have no choice. But it's going to be up to you all. Do you want this, or do you saw those services? I'm not going to be like our neighbors to the north. Something large has to go away. We have 2 large departments. We have EMS and the road department. Those are the only ones that can afford to pay this bill moving forward. So the choices is up to you all. Talk to these folks to be able to do this. The PVA is here to chat about the increased property values, of which it doesn't help our community. When you're looking at something that House Bill 44 years ago made your tax increases to your homes revenue neutral, it's pretty wild how that works. If we did the revenue neutral here as a court this year, we would have got somewhere around $27,000, and that would have been it. But we chose to take the 4% by law increase, so we got $427,000. Of which out of that $427,000, basically, $300,000 plus went to the increase in the retirement system. So we landed somewhere around $90,000, of which we had to pay for a special election. So this is where we're at. This is the presentation. Any of y'all who want to stick around afterwards, I'll be happy to chat with you. This information is available to the public. We're here to be transparent. It's not the word I like. I've always been honest with people. This is where we're at physically. You know, if somebody else has a better plan, jump right in there. But this is where we're at. I've wrestled with this since last February. We've made agreements, handshake agreements with the different cities, and we're here for you all. You all elected me to do a job, and this is a responsibility that I've accepted. I'm not here to worry about being reelected. I'm here to do the right thing for our community. So this is where we're at today, and I appreciate your all's time, and thank you all. There you go. First reading and public hearing of for zoning ordinance 2020Z-01, Jennifer Hallett.
This is Planning Commission docket number 2020Z-01. The applicant is Jennifer Hallett. The owners are Carl Ray Hall and Brenda Roberts. They are asking to rezone their property from agricultural to R1 residential. It's a portion of 670 Light Lane. It's 1.269 acres, and the comprehensive plan shows conservation. The Bullitt County Planning Commission held a public hearing on February 13th, 2020. And based on that testimony, the Planning Commission finds the requested zoning change is in agreement with the comprehensive plan and sends a favorable recommendation to fiscal court.
First reading of Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 20-01. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 1.269 acres more or less, located at a portion of 670 Light Lane in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission. And whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes. And now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2020Z-01, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance take effect upon passage and publication. Section 3, should any section provision or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be effective, shall remain in full force and effect. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 3rd day of March 2020, to be given second reading and voted upon at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of March 2020.
Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 2020Z-01? Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 2020Z-01? Hearing none, thank you, Rob. Felicia?
Thank you, thank you.
Jeff, is Jeff here on the circuit rider? The circuit rider program cooperative agreement, the state transportation department came by and they chatted with us. They're going to offer up $5,000, and what they're wanting to do is educate the magistrates, the city council members of all the 8 cities, along with all the transportation employees involved with both the counties and the cities, to be able to put on a training exercise to teach them about safety and look for safety improvements on our county and city roads. And I'm assuming I need a motion on this to be able to accept the agreement with the $5,000 for them to give us.
Second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate. Any other discussion first? And I'm sorry Jeff's not here. Got a motion by First District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by 4th District Magistrate Rayhill to approve the agreement for $5,000 that the state's going to provide to us for the safety program for the cities, county employees, magistrates, and city council members as well. Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rayhill?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. It's first reading of ordinance 19-3, Amendment 1, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment. Ann?
That's ordinance number 19-13 in summary form, amendment number 1, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas Dutchess County, Bullitt, has realized unbudgeted receipts for the general, road, jail, LGEA, federal grants, EMS, and dispatch funds. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, the budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 is amended to Section A, increase the receipts of the general, road, jail, LGEA, EMS, and dispatch funds by $1,940,550.88. and include unbudgeted receipts from the general fund in the amount of $1,026,516.28. The road fund, $187,950.75. The jail fund, $3,129.48. The LGEA fund, $356,958.78. The EMS fund, $15,764.12, and the dispatch fund, $350,231.47. Section B is the increase for the expenditure accounts. For the general fund, an increase for $326,516.28. The road fund, $187,950.75. The jail fund, $3,129.48. The LGEA, $356,958.78. The EMS fund, $715,764.12. And the dispatch fund, $350,231.47. Please note, this amendment is in summary form. However, you may request to view the amendment in its entirety in the county treasurer's office during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's just the first reading.
All right. Thank you, Ken Ann. Next up, Robert Watkins, actions requested on fuel bids for the road department. And while you're up here, Robert, number 5 as well, actions requested on asphalt bids.
Yeah, just let's see it's fact.
Y'all are on fuel bids, A&M, which we got right now, so they come in the cheapest, about 21 cents a gallon cheaper than the next bid. That's what we're looking to go with.
Robert, that's on the gas. Is he less than a cent on diesel?
Yeah, no, that'd be right at 9 cents, that's what that is, 0.08.
Oh, okay.
So it's right at 9 cents a gallon.
And he's
So
33 on gas?
Yeah, right at 34 on gas and 9 cents on diesel.
Wow.
Yeah.
We use a lot of diesel, don't we?
Yeah. So we use more diesel than we do gas. So.
And then the one closest to it was $54.
54 cents.
54 cents.
Yeah. So 21 cents cheaper on the gasoline and, well, now, there's a difference in here. They don't have a, let's see, the difference is, on key oil, they put federal and state taxes on our fuel, which we don't have to pay that on diesel fuel.
Oh, okay.
So there's that comes up to 0.444. So take that off of that 0.544, so they'll be at 0.10, they'll be at dime.
Okay.
And stout was at 9 cents on the diesel.
What's your recommendation?
That'd be A&M oil with the 21 cents.
I'll make a motion, we accept A&M's bid on fuel.
Second.
Got a motion by any other discussion? Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logson to accept A&M's bid for the road department for fuel for the coming fiscal year. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Second one's action requested on asphalt bids. Robert?
On the asphalt, we had pretty good luck on that. We got 4 bids this year instead of 1. They went from $78 a ton down to $42 a ton. So we had Riverside come in at 78, Louisville Pavement come in at 56.50, Hall come in at 48.25, and Mago come in at $46. So
And Mago's the only one that's got on there that's priced firm, it will not be adjusted.
no, every one of them by this bid package this time, they're all bound for a year.
Yep.
Okay.
Their prices bound for a year. We changed the way we bid it this year
Right.
from the past, so it locks everybody in for 1 year.
1 year, okay.
And at those prices, we like to go with Mago. They $2.25 cheaper than the next bid on the ton.
You said Mago?
Yeah.
They work really good with his equipment wise and helping us with equipment and stuff.
And they got a real good mix. They're running that clay, state mix, and we took the wrap down even further. The reused asphalt, we took it down to 2%, and the state lets you get by with 3%. And a lot of these counties and cities are running as high as 7%, which is shingles and stuff mixed in to save on the tack. So.
Okay, good.
You all right with Mago then?
Yep.
I'll make that motion. We'll go to Mago.
Second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Brahill to accept Mago's bid for the asphalt bids, Any other discussion? Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, number 7, first reading of ordinance 20-02, amending ordinance 00-05, and reaffirming and imposing a licensing fee on insurance companies. Rob? Engaged in the business of insurance in Bullitt County.
The first reading for Commonwealth of Kentucky, Bullitt County, ordinance number 20-02. An ordinance amending ordinance 0015 and reaffirming and imposing a license fee on insurance companies, insurance premium surcharge, engaged in the business of insurance within Bullitt County. Whereas the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Kentucky allows fiscal courts to impose license fees on insurance companies within their respective counties. Whereas the fiscal court of Bullitt County previously determined that the imposition of such fees, insurance premium surcharge, will further the health, safety, welfare, and convenience of the residents of this county. Now therefore be it ordained by the fiscal court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. Section 1 is hereby imposed on each insurance company a license fee for the privilege of engaging in the business of insurance within Bullitt County, Kentucky for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, and thereafter on a calendar year basis. Section 2, the license fee imposed on each insurance company which issues any insurance policy which is not health or life insurance shall be 10% of the premium actually collected within each calendar quarter by reason of the issuance of such policies on the risks located within Bullitt County, on those classes of business which such companies authorize to transact, less all premiums returned to policyholders. However, any license fee imposed upon premium receipts shall not include premiums received for insuring employers against liability for personal injuries to their employees or death caused thereby under the provisions of the Workers' Compensation Act, and shall not include premiums from policies of health insurance. Section 3, the revenue derived from the license fees herein levied shall be paid into and become a part of the general fund of the county and paid to the county treasurer, and shall be paid at the address indicated in the insurance premium license fee return no later than 30 days after the end of the calendar quarter. License fees not paid to the treasurer in the manner prescribed on or before the due date shall bear interest at the rate defined in KRS 131.183. Section 4, every insurance company subject to the license fee imposed by this ordinance shall annually by March 30th furnish the Bullitt County treasurer at the address indicated in the insurance premium license fee return a written breakdown of all collections in the preceding calendar year for the following categories of insurance: casualty, automobile, inland marine, fire, and all perils. Section 5, the clerk of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this ordinance and any further amendment thereof or any amendment of any section thereof to the Commissioner of Insurance, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 6, this ordinance will take effect on July 1st, 2020. Section 7, any ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Be it so ordained by the Fiscal Court, by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court, given first reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 3rd day of March 2020, to be given second reading, voted on, and passed at the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of March 2020.
Thank you, Rob. And two quick notes in addition to that sitting here reflecting on this. The insurance premium surcharge in the next 2 years will generate, with all the cities working with us, about $12 million. This will relieve every debt that this county has except for on the ALC. And moving forward, we'll be able to pay for the cost of literally the retirement system that's going to be invoked on us at 13% a year. And again, to reiterate, this will go off in 2022 because we need 2 years of this at 100% with the cities working with us to be able to alleviate the county that is strapped with debt. And no matter who sits in this chair after 2022, it's going to be literally taxed with the assignment of being able to pay for the debt service moving forward. There's got to be a day and time when we quit borrowing, to where literally this community has no free cash to be able to do anything publicly for not only our employees, but also for the rest of the community with the services that we provide.
I'll say something.
Go ahead.
You know, taxes, surcharges and all this other stuff that runs across is, it always gives you a shaky, my stomach is rolling. I agree that we're running out of money and the state's pulling more and we got to have some kind of revenue. And as what we do, it ain't like we can ask somebody for a raise or we can, do a better job to get more money. We have to get revenue from other avenues through occupational, through things. But my concern is the big statement that he made is as long as the cities let us. Every city, we did this, and every city took it. If I stand up here and tell you I'm going to raise your surcharge on your insurance, and you're going to look at me like I'm a sorry person, I'm good with that. If I can make your life better, I'm okay with that. But as soon as I do that, and the cities take every penny of it, and we're back to where we're at, we've got to have something. And I don't know if we can because there's going to be a new city council come in next year. And if they shake my hand today, what are they going to do next time? And I'm a trust guy. You shake my hand, we're great. We're good. But we've done bit that bullet. We've done, if the cities wouldn't have took any of it, our bills would have been paid off. We wouldn't be in the debt where we're in today. But they have that opportunity to do it. I mean, that's their right. It's their city. They're trying to get revenue. So if I can put my political butt on the line, excuse my language, and they receive the reward, it's not really doing you guys any good. So if there's a way, I don't know, John, if there's a way that we can, yeah, that's the same look we got last time. So we need it, bar none. If I had a guarantee that we could get this and keep it for 2 years and it would take care of our problems, I'd vote for it right now. And I would get a lot of grief about it. But you would be happy when the EMS come to your house, and you'd be happy when your road pop, and you'd be happy when stuff happens around here. But to do that, without a guarantee, it's going to be hard to convince. I mean, that's just my biggest thing is, but we've got to figure out something. If it ain't this, it's going to be something else. We've got to figure out some revenue. States, as soon as we hit that 100,000, it's going to be another punch in the face. So that's just my statement. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Bruce Thomason.
I'm not going to fuss about borrowing money. I borrow as much as I can. I've got more time behind me than I do in front of me, so I'm hoping before the bill comes due, I'll die. You got that?
I ain't loaning you no money then.
But You're the only one. But I do want to.
Bruce, I will.
Seriously, yeah, the judge will. He knows I'm good for it. I want to thank whoever's responsible for making the parking spot for the veterans over there. Yeah. If you have not seen it, you ought to go over and see it. It's red, white, and blue. It's right across the way. And it's thanking the veterans for their service. And on term with that, March the 29th is National Vietnam Veterans Day. And the Pioneer News is going to have some articles in there. The paper will come out March the 25th. So if you know some of the people, now for 50 years, we Vietnam veterans had to ride in the back of the bus. Now that's the fact. Now my community here treated us good. But in Louisville, going through Chicago, going through LA, we were spit on and cussed at. But the people here, and I remember that when I left here, the 26th of February 1968, got on a bus down here, Kentucky Bus Line's bus. Went to Old Nichols Hospital, went to Fort Knox, and in August I was in Vietnam. So it was that fast. So the Pioneer News is gonna, that's the March 25th edition. The deadline is the 17th of March. And the Veterans Day is the 29th. But you know some of these guys that haven't got a lot of credit, put their name, their family, let them know that you appreciate it. So, and I do want to thank you for the parking spots, and I would like to see the cities do the same thing. I know Lowe's is doing it, Home Depot, for a lot of years. You know, we didn't get a lot of gratitude. And I thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bruce.
Bruce, I want to thank you for your service and what you've done for the community in the past. And we've got more of those signs in there as well. And you'll see the rest of them be put up just as soon as the weather's pretty enough so the paint will dry.
Thank you, sir.
Kenny, thank you for your service, and those of you in here who are Vietnam vets as well. And Robbie Smithers, you want to talk about EMS?
Good morning, Judge and Magistrates. I appreciate the opportunity to address the court. Not as a positive note as the last speaker, but nonetheless, I think it's important. From August 26th of 2019 to February 20th of this year, I was an employee with this fiscal court as a paramedic with your emergency medical services. I hired in as a part-time paramedic. I work at other employers. I also do some stuff in the with state government. But I averaged 48 hours a week in the 25 weeks that I worked here. I put in over 1,220 hours. Up until February of this year, I had absolutely nothing but positive interaction with the command staff. Never have a disciplinary, never had a suspension, a write-up, anything like that. On February 3rd, I came to work one morning and witnessed an incident between Kenny Harden and an employee. It was very public in front of the other employees. It concerned me so much that later in the day, I stopped by Judge Summers' office and addressed it with him. That was on February the 3rd. On February the 10th, I was called into J.R. Knowles' office to discuss some missing fuel receipts. Up until then, I'd never been told that I was failing to meet an expectation. The only other conversation I'd had with a street supervisor, shift supervisor, about a missing fuel receipt, and I'd taken pictures of every fuel receipt that I'd purchased so that we had backup copies, provided that to her, and nothing else was said. JR informed me of the expectation that pictures weren't appropriate, and so I told him that I would do better. Since then, I never purchased any fuel. I wanted to see if I was having an issue or if this was something more related to that meeting I had with the judge. So I made sure that my coworkers got the fuel receipt because I wanted to see if this would come back on me. On February the 16th, I went to pick up a shift, and I was forwarded to Mr. Noel. He told me that I was off pending an investigation for some sexual harassment claim that was made against me. From February 10th to February that was on the 16th February, and from February 16th to February 20th, I was never interviewed by any command staff, any HR, anybody out of the judge's office. I did have some phone conversations, but no questions were asked of me. I never was presented any evidence, any claims made against me. In fact, the HR representative in the termination meeting told me that that was not necessary. And on February the 20th, I was terminated by the deputy judge. I'm here today to inform you or put on the record that I want to appeal that termination. I believe the records and the facts are that this is unjust and is as a result of retaliation. So I'm willing to go through whatever process the court has established. I was your employee. I wasn't an employee of the agency. And so I'm asking for this court to consider this matter. Since then, they've terminated multiple employees, including employees that you guys reinstated last year. That was just done last week. You've got an issue with EMS, and it's not your folks on the street. It's the leadership of that agency. They're putting people's lives at risk. And I say that as a member of the Kentucky Board of Emergency Medical Services. In my hand, I hold the amount of records that formal complaints that I put against that agency. Every issue of compliance that I found there, I've tried to address with that department internally. And some of the middle management was very responsive to that, and we were able to fix a lot of things. Regardless of whether you guys reinstate me or whether or not you address the leadership issues there, I know that my fingerprints on Bullitt County EMS for the 25 weeks that I was there left the place better than I found it. But you've got other agencies making runs in this county because you don't have adequate staff. My very last shift there, I was scheduled 12 hours. I worked an 18-hour shift because had I left at 12 hours, you'd only had one paramedic for the whole county. You did over 11,000 runs last year. One paramedic for 11,000 runs in a county of this population is not adequate. And so I'm asking for you to reconsider my matter at a time that you're all's choosing. And I'm asking that you guys give the attention that agency deserves. The people that voted you in this office, I know that you've got a commitment to them, and I hope that you take my concerns seriously. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Yeah. Deb Reisner.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for allowing me to come up and speak. I'm the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator, and I just wanted to come by and give you a brief update on what's happening in the PV office right now, and then address a couple of questions. A couple of managers has been by this week, and kind of segue into your presentation, Judge, so and answer any questions that I can. We're in the process of inspecting Quad 2, which is the north end of the county. We are about 42 days ahead of where we were this time last year with our inspection work. Our main goal this year is to be on the tax calendar. In the past, we haven't been on the tax calendar. In fact, last year, we had to ask for two extensions. We were one of the last counties to finish up our work to the Department of Revenue. So our goal this year is to be one of the first counties. If we're completing our work on time, then that means we're doing our work properly, in my view. So 42 days ahead of the schedule this year from last year, I think it's pretty positive. We want to maintain that. We're close to completing the inspections. We have some 9,000 parcels that we're inspecting. I can tell you we anticipate values to increase again this year. All right, what we found in reviewing the parcels, as we did last year, is that a large percentage of them, a majority of the parcels had not seen a reassessment in 2 and 3 and in some cases 4 cycles. So the state has been in the office frequently when we first began last year. They're not seeing us so often this year, but when assessed values are here and sales values are up here, they tell us we have a very large gap to make up. So we're going to probably have about the same exercise this year in Quad 2 as we did last year in Quad 1. And folks can expect an increase in the value of their properties. And I'd like to say that, you know, if you bought property in Bullitt County, you've made a wise investment. Your property is appreciating. And so that's something we all want. Paying taxes on it is a different story, but unfortunately it's necessary. We've started a new program in the office. It's a birthday card program for homestead exemptions. Has anybody here received one of these in the audience? Steve received one. Anybody else?
I got one.
You got one?
Several times.
Okay, good. We collaborate with a couple of the other counties that are engaging in this, and what we saw this past October, when folks get their tax bills, if they don't, this birthday card program is for the home extension, homestead exemption program. What we saw in October is that if folks hadn't signed up for their homestead exemption program, when they come in to pay their tax bill, what happens then? They go to the sheriff's office, pay their tax bill, sheriff says you qualify for the exemption, come back over to the PVA office, fill out the forms. When you get that done, then go back to the sheriff's office, you'll get your $39,000 reduction in the value, and you save $400, $600, okay? Going through that exercise last year before we implemented this program, we generated 646 documents with homestead exemptions and then the exonerations that went with them. And so that really just duplicated a lot of work. It took up time from the staff. Folks would come into the office, our staff would fill out the forms, and they would go back over to the sheriff's office. I don't know how many additional forms you all have to do, Sheriff, with that kind of stuff, but it's very time consuming and a lot of duplicated work. I did just it's kind of a complex formula, but based on those number of forms and the number of visits that we had in just October to do this, it costs our office somewhere in the neighborhood of about $2,600 to do that, okay? Since we spent $56 on 431 of these cards, $151 in postage, $207, and we've sent out a total of 431 birthday cards. Now, we got our list from the Secretary of State. Everybody's turning 65 this year. We had to scrub the list, remove all those who are renting, those who don't own property, those who may already have the exemption. We came up with 431 taxpayers that qualify for this. So we sent all those out. To date, we received 78 of them. So that's roughly 18% return. That's pretty good. We're going to continue to receive those. So what is this going to do? Well, that's 78 fewer people that are going to be coming to our office. Now, we like seeing people, don't get me wrong. But they're going to be coming to our office stressing about receiving this exemption, doing the paperwork, and getting back over to the sheriff's office, okay? The work's already done, their file's already updated. We've already called them to let them know that we appreciate them undertaking this exercise. The file's updated. When they get their tax bill in October, they're not going to have to come see us. They'll go straight to the sheriff's office. The exemption will be on their tax bill, and they'll make their payment. So it's been very, very positive for the taxpayers. Everybody that's turned this in, we've got 17 emails, 31 from Postal Service, and 29 office visits that have returned their forms. They're filling the form work out. They're bringing it into us. It's just been a tremendous relief to our staff, and I presume a relief to the sheriff's office also. So we won't have to be engaging in refunds and all those exonerations for those folks that participate. It's just my hope that the other 300 will turn it in before October. So we'll see how that goes. It's been very positive, money-saving, time-saving exercise that we're engaging in. So let's see. Want to tell you about that. We continue to digitize forms and improve processes. Time is slowly becoming our friend. We processed over 4,000 deeds last year. So we had a tremendous backlog of deeds. We're caught up with our deed work where we're actually entering the deeds real time as we receive them. We may be a couple days behind that, but we're very close to being caught up with all that. We've eliminated a backlog in our auto reports. All of those are caught up. There's a big backlog in those. And we've made a big dent on the permits that we received from planning and zoning for new construction. This time last year, we were about 1,600 permits. We're down to right around 1,000. So that's significant. That's significant for our office. We've invested into a commercial software application. we're taking a strong look at commercial valuations in this community. And you're going to see some impact on that. So I'll come back and let you know once we've already received our ratio from the state. With all the deeds being entered in, they've looked at our sales in this community and our ratio, which is an indicator of whether or not property is valued at fair cash value. It has to be at least 95%. We're at 86% for this quad this year. So we have about 8 points to make up. Okay, and we'll do that through our valuation. Okay. Let's see. I think that's about it with current activities in the office. We've moved our office around some. I've moved some folks around to realize some efficiencies and how data flows through the office, and that's been positive. We have some informational signs hanging up in the office now. We have a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, like Bullitt County Property Evaluation Administrator's Facebook page, we're using that Facebook page to inform people and educate them on how our office operates and the things that we do and what we can help you do to save money on your property taxes. The homestead exemption, the disability exemption, the agricultural exemption, these are ways that if you own property that you may save money on your property taxes. So we want to help you with that. Let's see. I think that's about all my notes. I wanted to address some of the questions now, if I may, that some of the mattresses came in this week and had about current value and revenue coming into the county. All the property valuation administrator's office does is value property. That's all we do, okay? And I can't guarantee or pinpoint what the revenue is going to be. That's not my job. All right, we value the property. The county clerk assigns the tax rate, the effective tax rate, on what those values are. We send that file to the clerk, and then he'll send that file to the sheriff's office to collect the taxes, okay? What I can tell you is that values are going to continue to go up. Okay, I can't say how much. All this stuff is going to happen in a flurry as we complete our inspections. Then we're going to formulate all of our sales reports, and then we're going to assign the assessments to the properties, the reassessments to the properties. Okay, I can tell you last year there was a question about what happened in Quad 1. What was the increase in the value? There was a 20% increase in the value of the property in Quad 1. That's residential, farm, and commercial parcels. Okay, the new growth. Now, new growth is new development. The new growth that was put onto the tax roll in 2018 was just over $96 million. Our first year, my first year in office in 19, we doubled that. We had almost $202 million in new growth, and that's from working the permits. That's from paying attention to the commercial property that we already had and looking, studying those values. Almost $202 million in new growth in 2019. Okay, overall, from a county standpoint, the increase in total value from everything that we have is about 11%. Okay, are y'all with me on that so far? So in other words, the value that's coming into the county and our work in reassessing current homes resulted in about 11% increase in value throughout the whole county. Okay, we're in the north end right now. The north end, you know, the Quad 1 has about 12,000 parcels. Quad 2, the one we're in now, has I think it's about 9,000 parcels. So it's a little bit smaller, a little more dense though. And all I can tell you is that the values are going to be going up. I can't estimate what your revenue is going to be. It's not going to be millions of dollars. It's probably going to be a similar exercise. I'm just guessing based on what I've learned last year and what we're doing this year, that you're going to see an increase in your revenue. How much? I don't know. I can't tell you. But it is. I'm going to venture to say it's going to increase. And I'm going to venture to say that you may be in a similar exercise that you were last year, And that is with the state coming in and saying you have to remain revenue neutral.
Right.
You're gonna have to readjust your tax rate, which isn't bad for the taxpayers at all. And then determine whether or not you want to increase that rate from that point to generate more revenue. Same exercise you did this past cycle. Okay? So from the property valuation office standpoint, that's about all that I had to tell you. And I'm happy for any of you guys or anybody in the audience to come by our office. I'm happy to go over the recap information to you. A lot of numbers here, a lot of mathematical equations to review. I'm happy to go over that with anybody and answer any question that you have. But I can tell you that, again, I've harped on this a lot. I'm blessed with the staff that I inherited that's committed, they're dedicated, they're very strong on customer service. We all want to do what's right. We want to make accurate assessments. We had over 200 conferences last year, dispute conferences last year come through the office. And the office said that's the most they've seen in a very, very long time. And every single one of them we were able to reduce back down. We didn't take them back down to the starting point, but we did reduce the increase. And that's all people ask for, you know. And so we expect that to happen again this year. So we've refined that process and how that's going to work. And just trying to make things better, more efficient, less duplication, and more clear and concise with the folks that come in. So we've managed by moving the folks around to create kind of a small conference room. So we anticipate training sessions, continued cross-training with the staff. I was telling one of the managers that came in this morning, and I got this idea from one of the realtors. We're going to invite realtors and developers, folks to come in, and even lay folks come in, and you can learn how to use our system. We've moved our public workstations out front to the office, and so we've got our latest technology on the system, and you know, we're happy to train you and assist you with how to gain access to that information. And we foresee having you know, small training sessions inside the office, and we can project now up on our wall and cross train and extend that to the public and the professional public. So doors open, come in anytime. We'd love to have you in. Does anybody have any questions about? Yes, sir, Sean.
I just took a couple of notes, and this is more a question maybe to kind of answer some things for the community, but I just met with the judge's office on Thursday regarding this insurance premium surcharge. So that's the first that I've officially been given this presentation. So just like everybody up here, we've all got a tough decision to make in how we're going to vote.
Yes, sir.
I know speaking with the community, even since then, talking with several different people, a lot of people feel like in that Quad 1, I represent Mount Washington in District 2. Mm-hmm. So when I was given that number, $427,000, it seemed like it was relatively low to me. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm asking this more as an explanation to the community, because from what I see, a lot of people in the community feels like based on the property tax increases that they have not been done in 2 to 3, possibly 4 cycles, that there was going to be a lot more than $427,000 of additional revenue handed back over to the county. I know you made a comment that said that that's not your job, or to find out how much we received prior to and after. I'd like to find out, I guess, after this, who could give us those numbers of what money was turned over prior to and then after the increases. But I guess my biggest question would be if you could work backwards, and I kind of know the answer to this, but I'd like to hear it from you so that the community knows as I meet with them over the next couple of weeks prior to me having to make a vote on this insurance premium surcharge. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in Mount Washington I know feel like that they've been hit pretty hard.
They were.
And they have paid a significant amount in property tax increases.
Yes, sir.
So I just want some information for myself, for those watching. Why are we, explain to me the $427,000 so that I can explain that to the community, that despite all the increases in property taxes, we really didn't get as much money as we might, or that might have been perceived in the community. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. What happens, Sean, is, you know, the values that we set, that's all we do is set the value. We go in and look at your cars and your boats and your houses and your land, and we value it, okay? What happens then is our records are certified by the state, and we create a tax roll. That tax roll then is sent to the county clerk's office, and he receives the effect, and all the cities in the county, and they set their effective tax rates The clerk then assigns that tax rate to the values. All right, and that's where the revenue is likely to be seen. Okay, and then that is sent to the sheriff's office to draft the bills and send out for collection. Are you with me so far? So what happens is that revenue creates a pie.
Yeah.
And then the pie's divvied up.
I get that, but I guess I'm more interested in numbers in terms of like sharing with the community. You had mentioned something about 202 million in new growth.
Mm-hmm.
That new growth, is that just new construction?
Yep.
That wasn't even assessed?
Correct. Oh, no, it's assessed.
I mean, but
That's
it's
the value.
new, but is that new
it's
house
the value of the
being
new
built?
growth.
That's is new growth, I guess what I'm
brand
trying
new
to ask.
house.
A brand new house.
Yes, sir.
So
Or
if
a brand new
at
office.
202 million, and what would you suggest that the probably average property tax bill somebody pays is?
I mean,
1%?
What's that now?
1%?
Yeah,
If my house is valued at $200,000, my property tax bill ballpark might be around 1%. So that's $2,000.
That would give you a ballpark idea.
So that would make 200 million in new growth. That's 2 million in property taxes that is handed over to that somebody's paying potentially in that new growth. We get 9.4% of that. Is that correct? The county.
That's your tax rate.
So that's 188,000. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is to explain to somebody even, and I'm not saying I'm for the tax or against the tax, but I'm just thinking out loud, and I hear a lot about the birthday cards, but I think people don't really understand, where we're at. So if $200 million is in new growth, the average property tax.
That's the value of it.
Yeah, but property taxes is based off the value, right? So let's just say hypothetically 1%, then that brings it down to 2 million. Of that 2 million, if the county's to get 9.4%, I think that's 188,000. So we received close to $200,000. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to figure this out so I can explain it and so people understand.
That sounds about right.
So on new growth alone, the county has taken in approximately $200,000. Would that sound, just guessing?
That sounds like it equates to me.
Okay, and then the other, I guess you're saying 427 is the total. So I'm just trying to figure this out. So the other 227,000 would be based off increases of existing property, residential, commercial, ag. Would that sound right?
No,
Yes,
that's what we did when we took to help you a little bit, Sean, the tax rate was set at 9.0.
Right.
Okay, so that equates back down into what you're talking about with the math that we come up with was somewhere just a shade over $20,000
Okay.
at 9.0. So when we took the 9.4, it's literally $100,000 per point.
Okay.
That's where you get the total 427,000.
Okay. I'm just looking for an explanation because people in my community think that we've got a lot more money than $427,000.
What I would, can I?
Yeah.
What I always do is like I keep on my phone, I took a picture of my tax bill. My house was assessed at 196. It'll probably go up, which I hope so, Of that, I paid $2,296 on my taxes. The state got 240 of that. The county got $180. Okay. The schools got $1,500. The library got $150. The health department got $47. The extension office got $19. And my fire department got $196. So if you figure mine goes up 250, say I'm at 196, I go to 250 next time. The county will probably get $200. We'll get $20, maybe. If that's a stretch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the perception of is people when they pay their taxes of $2,200, they think we get all of that. They think we get every bit of that, well, which we don't. I'm paying $190, and this is the way I look at things. If I could go to a business and I could give them $180 and they would fix my road and blacktop my road, they would send the EMS to my house, they would send the sheriff to come to my house when I had a problem. They would have security, they would have a courthouse across the street to do that. I promise you I wouldn't do all that for $189. I wouldn't. So we have to, and again, it's corporate. It's the whole county puts in that kind of money. But that's where my mindset goes to is if we go up $10, we're going to generate $1 million That's all. Everybody else is gonna generate more too, but that's the process of getting to where we want. And the property evaluation is I want my property to be evaluated where it needs to be. You know, I don't want to, if I want to, my house appraises for $250,000, I want my house to, property evaluation to be $250,000. Because if I decide I want to go out and get a loan, I'm going to get a loan. Or if I want to get a home equity loan, or I want to do something, my house is worth the money that I want to go get. But anyway, that's my explanation. When I go out and sit to talk to people, most of them do not know that. Most of them thinking, I give you $2,500 last year, how come you can't fix my pothole? Well, I just tell them, I said, this is what you give me, but we're going to fix your pothole for $180. How much you think it's going to cost me to fix it? Send two guys a truck out. It's going to be more than $180, but that's what we do. We're a service oriented. We're not here to make money. We're here to service, and that's the reason we need more money to fix more potholes.
Yeah, and I asked a lot of those questions knowing some of the answers, but I also wanted to articulate those because that's the feedback that I'm getting from the community is property taxes have increased so significant. But still, based on that significant increase, we're still getting minimal back. And now I've got to talk to my constituents and people in my district and find out really what's best for this county. I'm up here voting not what Sean wants to do, but I need to, I just found out about this on Thursday, so I want to talk to my community and find out what's going to be best for them. But also, just like Joe said, Candy, is there any way you can go back to that one slide though, the services provided? I did like this, I've been kind of asking for something like that because as soon as I came on board about a year ago, not knowing where the property taxes went and how the county was ran, that was something that I'd even requested a long time ago, was something to show people because I had no understanding. You pay your property tax bill and a lot of people don't really take the time to look at that property tax bill and break it down and see exactly where every dollar goes. But it is if you know what slide I'm talking about? You don't have to bring it back up, but there's a slide there that was showed earlier that shows all the services that the county provides. And that's really a good snapshot of everything that we have to do. And unknowingly to me, I know I've talked to some of the other magistrates before, and many have said that they carry their property tax bill around, but it is crazy. Everything that we have to do with just 9% of that 1% of somebody's property value approximately. And I say 1%, it could be a little higher, but if your house is valued at close to 200 and you're paying $2,000 a year, that $2,000 somebody's writing a check for is coming off your mortgage. You think you're paying a lot of taxes, but when, I don't know the percentage breakdown. I'd love to see the average percentage, but that might be something, Tom, that you could even publish or something. But I'd really like emphasis on that because I don't think people understand that. They really don't. And I didn't understand it as a citizen, that all those services are things that we have to provide. And we do have to, whether it's raise a tax or whether it's look closely at how we're handling our money. I'm not for raising taxes, but $12 million of debt, I don't know. I've got to talk to people watching. I've got to talk to my community. I've got to talk to my constituents and find out what's best for this county. But without a doubt, when you look at the services provided and you realize that only 9.4% of your property tax bill is going to cover all those things, it's amazing how we even keep the wheels turning.
Well, Sean, we're trying to do our part. We're just one small, cog in the wheel of local government to inform people. We have a pie chart in our office. It's brand new, and it shows where all the revenue goes. The largest portion of that is obviously the school district. So come over and look at it. That'll probably answer your questions. You don't already know, but that's where most of the revenue goes. And the county, unfortunately, is at the bottom of the totem pole.
If you had to be put on the spot and just hypothetically speaking, you deal with these property tax bills every day, what percentages would you say? We're 9.4% the county. Would you suggest that the school's 70%, 75%?
We've got it on the pie chart.
Yeah, but ballpark?
60
that's
some
ballpark.
percent.
The school, yeah, is 70%. I think it was 70. It was reduced last year. I think it's. On property, their tax rate went down to 71%. Right.
Okay.
It was close to 74, I think.
So around 74%, 70 to 70.
What it was.
70 to 75% of your property tax bills going to the schools.
Just about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but thank y'all. We need any other questions?
Any other questions?
No. Thanks for your presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
And we need we need an executive session to talk about
Litigation.
Litigation. I need a motion. I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Brahill. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Lockston?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And anybody that wants to hang around, we'll be happy to further discussion on the insurance premium surcharge.
Yeehaw.
Thank you. You understand the 427, if we didn't take that extra 4%, we got $27,000. I mean, because.
I'm gonna try like that. Yeah, absolutely. I wanna really get involved.
Yeah, it wasn't this.
I don't want him, he's great things about birthday cards, he needs to talk about it, we talked about it.
What about, 245 zone?
They would sure talk about it.